Okay. So let the listeners out there know you're live on arrowatradio.com. Let them know a little bit about who is Empress Rose, what you do.
Well, for the most part, I am a songwriter and a music producer.
Okay.
And I own my own record label as well. So I basically focus on that in terms of music producer, but side of that, I do have a separate entity where it is that I'm able to book tours for some of our international and local artists.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about producing, because it's a different side to being an artist and a producer. So how did you get into that?
Yes. I'm sorry, the question again?
Of course. So I was just asking how you got into producing, how it started for you.
I started writing music very young, actually.
Okay.
In middle school. And it's, matriculated when I got into high school, and I started writing for some of the artists as well. So I didn't get accustomed to the studio until I would say about 16 years old. But before that, I was just learning the notes and everything as it pertains to recording a song.
Yeah.
I basically grew up listening to artists such as Dara Taku, Lucky Dube, Bob Marley, and Jacob Miller, those guys. Whitney Houston, of course.
Definitely.
Elton John
Okay.
I'm a fan.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Yes.
You sounded like you were hesitating then. Have you got some slack from saying Elton John before? What, sorry?
You said I sounded like I didn't hear the end of.
Oh, okay. No, I was saying it sounded like you had, I don't know, maybe some slack for saying Elton John before. Has that happened?
Oh no.
Oh.
Because a lot of people. Oh no way.
Okay.
I think he's so talented. He's so musically talented. It's insane. I don't think he gets enough credit, actually.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
What about those artists has appealed to you or has enticed you to listen to their tunes? What do you think it is?
It's not just about the song itself.
Yeah.
The song, of course, plays a big role because I would like to know that, of course, songs that have storylines, they attract me.
Yeah.
But as well, from a producer perspective, is the elements that goes in the sonic quality as it pertains to the song, how well it is that it's produced. Because being a producer as well, I make beats for some of the artists. Okay. So I'm making the rhythms and the beats for some of them. So it's not just that I'm writing. Yeah. I'm very hands-on in terms of everything.
Okay. So can you tell us who you wrote lyrics for, the beats for?
For this album that we're talk about today,
yeah,
Anthropology.
Okay.
I wrote that song actually back in March.
Okay.
And I wrote the song in March, and believe it or not, the song is based on what's going on right now in terms of, the wars, in terms of how it is that as a minority, we are not taken seriously and using our past to judge exactly present day. And there's no way we're going to move forward in terms of conquering racism if it is that we are always going to be judged from the past. So anthropology is about, things that happened in the past, used in the present, certain research industries, and that's the reason why I wrote the song. That's one of the reasons.
Okay.
I also wrote it because of the disparities as it pertains to the medical industry and different things that, myself as a minority, I pay attention to some of these things. Not everyone does, but I do. So. Okay.
You said the word minority. Do you think black as a whole is a minority?
And I say minority because it is that it's what the world use in terms
Okay.
of placing us in a box.
Okay.
But I guess that's another question.
It is. That's why I asked it. Sorry.
Because no, I don't think that. It's okay. I don't think that is that we should be judged based on, you know, being what equates us in terms of what people think that makes us a minority itself. So I don't think I belong to any particular sector or any of the above. So for myself, it is that just a free spirit, so to speak, for lack of a better word.
Okay.
But we're judged by the term, one of the terminology, minority.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry to drop that one just on you there.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's fine.
Because you also do lots of community work.
I do.
So tell us something about that, because that's a nice thing to do.
Well, I have been doing community work like ever since I was young, from a very young age.
Okay.
You know, I guess I have so many talents, and I've always been told that. But now looking back, it is that I now see what persons would tell me about, and it's kind of interesting that persons would tell you you're talented and you don't believe it. However, I started very young in terms of I knew how to groom hair. So straight out of middle school, part of what I would do is to braid the kids in the community hair.
Yeah.
Not charging them, just based on what it is, if they would like to give me some donation, their parent give me money or whatever.
Yeah.
But I would walk around from house to house, and that's something that I was so I started very young.
That's nice.
And then in high school, it turned to I was one of the brighter kids.
Okay.
I don't know if that helps that I graduated as valedictorian.
Okay. That's cool.
But I was one of the brighter kids. So what I would do is I would ask my principal if I can stay back for to conduct classes, after school classes, for some of the kids that would have a hard time in physics, chemistry, history, and mathematics.
Okay.
And so it was my way of giving back, because some of these kids, they would get to school late because they would have to walk from very far and don't have monies to get there, or the attention span just was not there. And then coming to the U.S., I started working on a program called Project Hope. I actually volunteered for them, Project Hope, where it is that high school dropouts, I started teaching them history and mathematics.
Wow.
And history and mathematics, so that they dropped out of high school, so they would have to go and take their tests to get a high school diploma. So I would help them with mathematics and history as well.
Okay.
Aside from that, because it is that I've traveled Africa for a long time, so, I've been traveling for a very long time, so able to give back to some of those communities as well by instituting various projects across Africa. For instance, there's a towel project, at least more than one towel projects that I give work the project to make donations, so that our girls in Africa is able to have what we call sanitary pads, because they don't have access to that. Some of them are using, when they have their monthly periods, they're using tree branches and, unsanitary stuff, because they can't afford sanitary pads. So, yes, I have various projects across the world.
Wow, you have to send...
that I've instituted.
Definitely. You'll have to send us some information so we can check it out for sure.
Yeah, no worries.
So, you spoke about the community work you do, the music side. You also entrepreneur as well?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am an entrepreneur. I never. Yes, I've held other positions, but I've always. That's something that I've always exercised in terms of being my entrepreneurism.
Yeah.
Because it also I think it's because of the amount of talents that I have that I figure that, I can use them in various areas and be able to make a living.
Definitely.
God knows COVID-19 is making that impossible right now.
Yeah, true. So, with all these talents that you do have, and the list keeps on going for sure, how do you, keep your mind active and decide what to do next? How do you decide the next step in each of those projects?
Well, I have a great team.
Okay.
That it consists of my daughter, so she works for free.
That's always good. Wow. Okay.
So yes, but I attribute that to great planning.
Yeah.
For myself, I'm a great planner, and I like to stick by what it is that's in my routine, my daily routine, so to speak. So, the community work itself, I didn't tell you as well. I'm on one of the largest boards, legal boards, in Massachusetts, where it is that my responsibilities in terms of the community.
Yeah.
So we help persons like are facing destitution, the whole ICE coming in and the porting,
yeah.
Homelessness, what do you call it? Just so much different things. I drop back there.
Okay.
But yes, just in terms of works to improve the community and keeping in line with the different services that we need to get out of City Hall and approaching our constituent and different persons who make things happen to make the community much better.
Definitely. So how can people get in touch with you, say if they're interested in helping on a project or something like that? How can they get in touch with you?
I'm available across social media. I have a few personal pages, but as well, a main page for business is International Stars, but not international spell out. It's INTLSTARZ.
Okay.
STARZ, yes.
Definitely. And for the listeners who are locked in, what would you like to say to them before we go?
Well, the artist or the album that we're talking about today is based on the works of anthropology, and I would encourage the listeners to be able to listen to the songs that are on the album and check it out. Again, it's called Anthropology, and you're going to be speaking with Amaze very soon, and he can talk some more about the album itself. There are a few things that we have lined up in terms of the album, and one is a short film, as to explain how it is that the album, how we came about Anthropology, naming the album, and it plays into our everyday life and why the songs were chosen, to complete the album itself. Coming up as well on June 25th, I'll be releasing an ebook, and the ebook is, we'll talk about ethnomusicology as it pertains to the Anthropology album, and how it ties in, the song ties into the title. And furthermore from that, we have a famous DJ that is mixing the album reggae style, and that will be at a later date as well.
Okay.
And in August, we will have a audiobook, which is going to be based on different persons within the industry and talking to a few anthropologists as it pertains again to the album.
Okay. Okay, so you've got a full diary.
Well, we're trying to do a lot of the online activity, since it is that, believe it or not, even without COVID-19, these things were in place, except the documentary. I didn't do a documentary before. That was my first short film documentary. Okay. But in terms of the ebook and the audiobook, I think that for the listening audience and artists that are listening is that they don't take advantage of the various ways in which they can be paid, and be creative about, the productions themselves when you put them out, because it's a whole wide world. You don't limit yourself to only one thing, like, I release a song, it's on the platforms, and that's it. I'm going to push it 20 times per day with the same content for someone to purchase it, because just flip the coin and think about it, that the other persons that are receiving the same content will not like that. So there are other ways you could go about putting your music in various places.
For sure. You know what, I really have to say thank you for sharing what you do, and I hope we can keep in touch, and please do keep safe as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem, and we'll keep in touch for sure.
Yes,
definitely.
Yes, I'm here. Again,
okay.
Look out for it across social media is INTLSTARC.
Definitely. Yes, for sure. So we'll keep in touch. Thank you once again for doing the interview, and keep it locked in, as you know, because Amaze is coming on later, so it'll be really good.
Yes, thank you there.
No worries. Anytime, sis. See you later.